Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today I'm going to give my progression guide on Bell and let you know what gear and cards to choose. I'll be trying Bell in PSR with 3 builds, the free-to-play level, the semi-pay-to-win level, and the heavily pay-to-win level. With these damage tests you can see the difference it makes and the priorities that I choose. Now on my account, Bell is my strongest auto-attacker class. It beats my Nameless and Auto-Attack Rune Master, which are my other 2 strong auto-attack classes that I've invested in. Bell has great burst due to limit off and hits critical stats easily. If you want an in-depth guide on playing Bell, then check out this video in the description. This video will focus more on gear progression. Before I continue, if you plan to top up on Ragnarok M Eternal Love, don't pay full price. Top up with Joytify, it's fast, 100% safe and secure. First choose your package, then choose your quantity, and then choose your payment method. Then enter your user ID and server, then press buy now, and then pay now. And it's not just ROM, they have other popular games that you can top up as well, from Genshin Impact to Roblox. Click on the link in the description or in the pinned comment. Play without worries with Joytify. Top up now at Joytify, and thanks to Joytify for sponsoring this video. Now for all these tests, this is my manual and auto setup. On auto is just physical auto attack. We rely on burst damage from limit off from Argonaut, and if you have 10 firebolt stacks, it recharges. That way you don't have to channel mid-battle. So when you see me use it mid-battle, it's to recharge, not to actually do it for damage. Inside my Prepare for Elite, I have all of the buff skills. Now I'll cover the gears I'll be using for my testing at various levels. For offhand, I'm using Dragonbone Shield for the physical damage increase. For a card, I use the Alice Star card for damage to MVP and mini monsters. It's a solid card that is a great investment for DPS users. In later tests, I replaced it with the Ancient Artifact user card for the damage and penetration percentage. For armor, I used the Blessing Liberation for the critical damage. I chose the critical damage random attribute, although you can also choose the damage to large as well. Bell benefits from critical damage from Blade Resonance, so that's why I chose critical damage instead. Now you can also use other short patrol if you lack elemental damage. This is particularly useful if you're water converting and need more wind damage, since there are only accessories to boost water and fire. For card, the Archer Skeleton Star card is good for attack percentage, but for armor cards you really need MVP cards to really do well, so later on you can use the Molten Colossus card, or for pay to win you can have the Ice card for final damage. Next for garment, I use Imperial Knight's Cape for the critical damage and auto attack damage increase. For cards, I use the Dragonfly Star card that can be used for a while for the auto attack damage, and since it scales off Agi, it's particularly good for Bell's skills. Later on I use Moon Wolf card because I like elemental damage. Next for footgear, I use Dragon Slayer War Boots, which is great for the attack percentage and the penetration percentage. For free to play level, it was definitely hard finding an impactful card, so I chose the Water Spirit Turtle card for the movement speed. I'd save Zenny for more impactful cards, so no need to invest in a mini card like Flute Player Star card for more movement speed. You can also use the King of Assassination, which is good for the final damage bonus and the movement speed. And if you have the Fire Era Seed Relic, Fallen Bishop Star is great for the extra damage to demi-humans. Next for accessories, for these PSR runs, the fire accessories are best for the extra fire damage. Alternatively, the Brooch of Pragma for critical damage is good, especially if you're converting to water. For cards, racial cards like the Scarecrow card are fantastic, and these cards are cheap and effective, so you can definitely take advantage of these accessory cards as long as possible. Later on, you can move on to cards like Galleon card if you're converting to water for more damage to water monsters, and you can also invest in the White Star Knight for critical damage that scales off Vit. The Biochemistry Baphomet card is also great for more physical damage increase. Next for weapon, the Blade of Hero is the best in slot for Bell, due to the stats and also the tier 5 effect of adding a ton of auto attack damage based on the firebolt charges. For cards, the Menorah Star card is great and you can rely on this for a long time. You will need a normal precision stone to deal with the weapon penalty. If you can afford it, the Drake Star card is fantastic for more damage and not having to deal with the weapon penalty. And the Baphomet card is great for splash. Bell unfortunately doesn't have splash with his auto attack, so you need to rely on that. In this previous video, I show how I used Dimmer Switch to take down a group of dragons. If you're being a water converter in a mob heavy instance, then you definitely want the Baphomet card. Next for head, the Cat Language Diadem is great versus MVP and mini monsters. This is available in the Time Wish machine. For card, the Andre Star card is good, and later on you can move to the Machine Dragon Wing card for damaged MVP and mini monsters. For face, the Gold Foil Fox Mask is great to guarantee the critical, though you do need to lose some critical damage for that. But the amount of critical damage you get from 2 points of crit also adds a ton, and this is available in the Time Wish machine. Next for mouth, the +6 Oceans attachment is great. The extra damage to monsters is great, and this is one of the most useful mouth items in the game for DPS, so this is a very safe investment for multiple classes. This is also in the Time Wish machine. Next for back is Chicken Axe, which is great for the 2 stacks of target damage taken by 5% debuff. This is also available in the Time Wish machine, and among the headwear, probably the top priority since the debuff is extremely useful. Then there's Friar's Wings for the Lex, but this is a limited time BCC back, so very much pay to win, but it's one of the best backs in the game. Next for tail, the Embroidered Chest is great for a ton of extra critical damage. You'll have a ton of luck, so it's easy to get a big boost. This is also available in the Time Wish machine. Next for Shadow Equipment, I use the ones typically used for critical damage types. They aren't at +15 since I'm a skill damage user, but I use them for this guide. For offhand, I use Vinked, which is great for the attack and penetration percentage. Next, the Ninja Clothes Cold Night Song. It adds a lot of critical damage, melee physical damage increase, and damage to large monsters. I'm really glad that Belle can use this armor. Next, the Cloud Undershirt is great for critical damage percentage. Then the St. Mary's Cloth Shoes for the attack and magic attack percentage. Next, I use the Hermit Bundle for the melee physical damage increase. I also use Fading Tear for the Rage Unleashed effect, which can provide a nice boost in critical damage percentage temporarily. Now, if you're in an instance where you can convert, such as Oracle Dungeon, White Star Airship, Constellation Tower, and Chaotic Space Time, then use the Magic Like Cocoon and Mayfly Shoes combo for a 10% chance to turn the target to water for 10 seconds when doing an auto attack. This works great for Eyes if she's on your team who is stuck to wind. Next for Oracle Mirror, the build for MVP damage is great and very flexible, and Death Cut armor is good for silence and stun resist. Next for Relic, Waist Size is good for free to play since you can always get it from the story, and Lord of Vane is good for a semi pay to win option, and finally the Fire Arrow Seed is the best pay to win option. Next is my Adventure Handbook. I removed all my headwear and I got it to 100%. I also have 3,956 attack and 3,404 magic attack. Let's first start off with the free-to-play level build. I don't allow myself to use any MVP cards, and all headwear are available from the Time Wish machine. There's also no pay-to-win relics. Now with self buffs, B meals, and fully charged up from hitting the dummy, here are my stats, and again Belle does need to ramp up to get full damage. I have 36,000 attack, 580% attack speed. For attributes I distributed so I have over 300 for strength, luck, dex, agility, and int. For vit I don't have enough, but you only need 5 stats to be over 300 to activate the final damage bonus, and 4 stats for the extra 5 stacks of Fire Bolt. Now you will get 50 stat points when hitting a monster, so keep that in mind if you're struggling to hit that. I have 137.3% penetration, 527.3% critical damage, 108.8% auto attack damage increase, 201.2% damage, 167% physical damage increase, and 79% fire damage. Now for all these tests, I will begin first by hitting the dummy to charge up 10 bolts. I also enable Argonaut. The buffs persist so you don't have to ramp up as much when you start. The damage is decent with limit off. Unfortunately, I do run out of limit off before the crystals come out. When Belle is not on limit off, you can definitely feel the difference. The damage becomes pretty mediocre in my opinion. Now if you have a saint to support you, then you could solo DPS this without any issues, it'll just take a while. I find Belle's anti-death is heavily timing based on limit off, letting you dodge stuff, so it can be challenging without a support of something else for res and faith prey. Next for semi-pay to win, I start adding my MVP cards. At this point, no BCC MVP cards. I'd say the armor card is the biggest improvement for its cost, and you don't need an MVP card here, whether it's Molten Golem or Cat God. That'll make a huge difference. I also add Lord of Vane. I'd say Lord of Vane Relic is another high priority. You can spend BCC to get the various pieces. This relic is extremely powerful and gives great elemental damage as well. So with these changes, let's see how we'll do. This time, before limit off disappears, I'm able to spawn the crystals, so I've hit the dragon hard enough. So that timing is definitely an improvement. I'd say with these changes it definitely helps a lot. It helps a lot with the timing since Bell is very heavy on making sure you do limit off at strategic times. With this setup, this is definitely better than my other auto attack classes with better gear, so this is when I can really see how Bell is stronger than my other auto attack classes. Now to go full pay to win, this time no restrictions on card or relics. I use my BCC cards from the collabs, and I use that in my offhand, armor, and head. I also use my Freya wings for the elects. Then I also use my Fire Era Seed to convert the target temporarily to demi-human. So let's see how this goes. This time limit off is still active as I take down the crystals. I also use limit off when the full screen AoE happens to dodge that. This time I burst him down fast enough that the summon dragons comes out at the same time as the other two annoying mini dragons. I don't do the Baphomet card switch this time, it's just because sometimes I find the range doesn't always hit and then the damage drops a lot, so this time I take one dragon at a time. Then I continue bursting the dragon. This was definitely faster and I could finish it off with a lot less of a hassle. I'd say Bell is very timing heavy and you need to know when to use limit off and when to recharge it with Firebolt, and also knowing when to save it for anti-death. So I'd say Bell is strong, but you definitely need the card and gear to support it. If you can't afford it, then I'd say just stick with Kalitzberg, who's a great debuffer, or Sunlight, who's able to do a ton of damage as well. But if you have consistent weekly teams with eyes, then Bell is extremely useful, especially for the synergies, but find solo, Bell definitely struggles, especially if you can't burst the bosses fast enough, since then you need to worry about cycling limit off a ton. So what are your thoughts on Bell? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I'd recommend, and if you want more class recommendations, check out this playlist over here.